Genesis 36 provides a genealogical record of Esau's descendants. Esau, also known as Edom, was the brother of Jacob, Israel. The chapter mainly focuses on the establishment of the nation of Edom through Esau's descendants. Before we start, we'd like to ask for your support. If you enjoy our video, please hit the like button. This will help us reach more people and create content for you. Now let's get started with today's video. Genesis 36 focuses on Esau, the brother of Jacob, and his descendants. Esau is often seen as the founder of the nation of Edom, which would later become a long-standing rival to Israel. The chapter opens by noting that Esau is Edom, emphasizing his identity and how his descendants would become the Edomites. The story of Esau and Jacob, beginning in Genesis 25, portrays two brothers who would each become the patriarchs of two nations. Esau was the firstborn son of Isaac and Rebekah, but he sold his birthright to Jacob for a meal, and Jacob later received the blessing of their father, Isaac. Despite losing the primary inheritance, God promised to make Esau into a great nation, and Genesis 36 shows the fulfillment of that promise. Verses 1 to 5, Esau's wives and children. The chapter begins by introducing Esau's wives and children. Adah, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, bore Esau a son named Eliphaz. Oholibamah, the daughter of Anah, bore Esau 3 sons, Jush, Jalam, and Korah. Basemath, Ishmael's daughter, gave birth to Ruel. This portion of the chapter reflects the broader theme of marriage alliances and their importance in the ancient Near East. Esau's choice of wives from the Canaanites, such as Adah and Oholibamah, reflects his distinct path from Jacob, who was instructed by Isaac to marry from within his family's people. Esau's marriage to Basemath, a daughter of Ishmael, indicates an effort to form alliances with other descendants of Abraham. Verses 6 to 8, Esau moves to Seir. Esau, realizing that the land of Canaan could not sustain both his and Jacob's families and their livestock, chose to move his family and possessions to the hill country of Seir, which would later become Edom. This departure marks the physical separation of Esau and Jacob and the establishment of Esau's independent lineage. Esau's move away from Canaan is significant in biblical theology because it demonstrates that, although Esau is blessed and prosperous, the promised land was designated for Jacob's descendants. This action also fulfills the prophecy given to Rebekah before the birth of her sons, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples from within you will be separated, Genesis 25 verse 23. Esau's descendants became the Edomites, while Jacob's descendants became the Israelites. Verses 9 to 14, the descendants of Esau. The text goes on to list the sons and grandsons of Esau, establishing his lineage through various descendants. The importance of genealogies in biblical literature cannot be overstated. They serve not only to track historical lineage but also to affirm God's promises to the patriarchs. In this case, God's promise to make Esau into a great nation is evident through the large and influential family tree. The sons of Eliphaz, Esau's son by Adah, are mentioned next: Taman, Omar, Zepho, Gatam, and Kenas. Among Eliphaz's sons is a notable figure, Amalek, born through his concubine, Timnah. Amalek is significant because his descendants would become the Amalekites, a people who would be a continual adversary of Israel, Exodus 17 verses 8 to 16. The text also lists the sons of Ruel, Esau's son by Basemath, Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. These descendants would go on to become chiefs, leaders of clans within Esau's lineage. Verses 15 to 19, Chiefs of Esau. In ancient times, leaders of clans or tribes were called chiefs or dukes, depending on the translation. Genesis 36 lists the chiefs among Esau's descendants, emphasizing the political and military structure of the Edomites. The prominence of chiefs within Esau's line demonstrates that his descendants were not only numerous, but also politically significant in their region. The chiefdom system was an essential aspect of governance in the ancient Near East. These chiefs ruled over various territories and clans, and the reference to them in this genealogy suggests that Esau's descendants were already well established by the time of this writing. Esau's descendants, such as Chief Taman, Chief Omar, Chief Zepho, and others, controlled different parts of the land of Edom, forming a decentralized, clan-based society. Verses 20 to 30, the Horite chiefs of Seir. Esau's descendants did not initially inhabit Seir alone. Before the Edomites fully took control of the land, it was inhabited by the Horites, an ancient people group. Genesis 36 provides a genealogy of the Horites, listing their chiefs and families. The mention of the Horites reflects the transition of power and land from one group to another. The integration of Esau's descendants with the Horites likely included intermarriage and cooperation. Among the Horites listed, names like Lotan, Zibeon, Anna, and Dishon stand out. These individuals were also chiefs, and their inclusion in the genealogy suggests that the Horites were not completely displaced, but rather integrated into Esau's growing nation. This kind of incorporation of different people groups was common in the ancient world as new powers rose and assimilated local populations. Verses 31 to 39, the kings of Edom. The next portion of Genesis 36 lists the kings who reigned in Edom before any king ruled over the Israelites. This phrase is key, as it highlights that Edom had established a monarchy before Israel. This early political organization shows the rapid growth and development of Edom into a powerful nation. The kings mentioned, such as Bela son of Beer, Jobab son of Zerah, and Hadad son of Bedad, were notable leaders who ruled different regions of Edom. This section of the chapter reflects the biblical author's attempt to record not just family history but also political history. The kings of Edom were distinct from the chiefs, suggesting a more centralized form of governance, perhaps over a broader territory than the chiefs ruled. Verses 40 to 43, more chiefs of Esau. The chapter concludes with a further listing of Esau's chiefs. This section reiterates the significant number of leaders among Esau's descendants and their strong presence in the land of Edom. The repetition of genealogical names underscores the importance of kinship and clan leadership in maintaining political and social order. Theological significance of Genesis 36. At first glance, a chapter full of genealogies might seem tedious or irrelevant, but Genesis 36 holds several important theological lessons. God's faithfulness to his promises. Despite Esau losing his birthright and blessing to Jacob, God remains faithful to the promise of making Esau into a great nation. The numerous descendants of Esau and the establishment of the nation of Edom serve as evidence of God's overarching plans for both Esau and Jacob. The Edomites would play a significant role in the history of Israel, sometimes as allies and often as enemies. God's providence is shown in how he works through both the chosen line of Jacob and the rejected line of Esau to fulfill his purposes. The legacy of conflict, the tension between Esau and Jacob, first seen in their struggle over the birthright and blessing, would continue in the relationship between their descendants. The Edomites, descendants of Esau, would become adversaries of Israel. This conflict is seen throughout the Old Testament, including in battles during the wilderness period, Numbers 20:14-21, and in prophecies against Edom, Obadiah, Ezekiel 25 verses 12 to 14. Genesis 36 provides the roots of this later conflict by detailing the origins of the Edomites. The role of nations in God's plan. While much of the Bible focuses on Israel, the genealogies of other nations, such as Edom, remind us that God is concerned with all peoples. Even though Israel is the chosen nation, other nations also have their place in God's plan. Genesis 36 reminds readers that God's plan for humanity encompasses more than just the descendants of Jacob. The importance of family and identity. In the ancient world, identity was closely tied to one's family and lineage. Genesis 36 emphasizes this by detailing the descendants of Esau, the chiefs, and the kings. For the original readers of Genesis, these genealogies would have provided a sense of historical and familial identity, as well as an understanding of the geopolitical landscape of their time. Conclusion. Genesis 36, with its extensive genealogical lists, provides insight into the descendants of Esau and the development of the nation of Edom. Through this chapter, we see the fulfillment of God's promises to Esau, the establishment of a politically and militarily significant nation, and the roots of the later conflict between Edom and Israel. While often overlooked, genealogies like those in Genesis 36 play a crucial role in the biblical narrative, reminding us of God's faithfulness, the importance of family. Please subscribe my YouTube channel. I hope you like this video. Thank you.